Fikile is an employee benefit consultant at 10X Investments and has a BCom honours in economics. Prior to joining 10X, Fikile worked as a retirement fund consultant at Alexander Forbes and Old Mutual Corporate. Her clients included BMW South Africa, Nampak and Mutual and Federal. Before that, she worked at National Treasury. Please welcome to the stage Fikile Shezi.
Sorry, they forgot to mention that I'm going to be doing my presentation in Zulu. Is that okay? All right. As I'm seated there, I'm just thinking they're introducing everyone. Hazel Hopkins, more than 25 years experience. David Crawford, more than 27 years experience. I'm thinking they're going to say, Fikile Shezi, she's 27 years old. I hope we hope this is not the beginning of a very funny joke. Anyway, Stephen asked me to cover the cost calculator. What I'm basically going to be doing, we're going to try and quantify the total fees and see how they impact on the members' retirement outcomes in the long run. All right, so basically my agenda, I'm going to look at the basic key differences between standalone funds and umbrella funds. That's been extensively covered by previous speakers. We're also going to try and understand the anatomy of fees and their importance. Thirdly, we will look at the cost calculator, whereby we do the quantification of fees and exactly how they impact on the members' retirement outcomes. All right, here are the key differences. Hazel had covered this. So we all know that in freestanding funds, you will normally have a board of trustees comprising of both employer representative and employee representative. These people, as it has already been said, they will normally lack skill and sometimes experience. You'd normally go to a meeting to meet with this board of trustees. You will have that one or two trustees who are seeing their agenda packs for the very first time. Obviously, you can see that there's even lack of interest. These people are not monitoring the fund as they should be. So what do? You'll find that they will rely extensively on consultants. That, again, has been covered. If you look at umbrella funds, they have what we call employer and employee committee, like a MENCO committee. They've got very limited legal liability compared to your board of trustees in a standalone fund. They rely very much on they might favor sponsor default, and there's very limited choice in an umbrella fund. For example, if you are coming with your own different investment strategy, they might not allow you. They would want you to fit into an umbrella fund strategy. So what is the anatomy of fees? How do fees apply to these structures? As it has been said by Stephen and the other speakers, the industry is often very complex. It is inefficient. They will give you many choices. You get confused as a trustee and some principal officers. Once you are confused, then they offer advice. For you to get that advice, you need to pay some exorbitant fees. All right. So there are so many people between you and your portfolio. They all want a bit of it. You are an investor. There'll be somebody who is a broker in other funds. There are others offering investment advice. There'll definitely be some investment administration, pension administration, fund managers. Everybody is charging you a certain amount. Do you stand and ask yourself, are these people adding any value? Are they worth the fees they are charging? All right. Why is it so important for you as a trustee or for you as a principal officer to ask if they are adding any value? How are fees important? You know, how are the fees they are charging important? How do they apply in the long run? So now, we know that in this industry, many people, especially members, they are not very much concerned with their retirement outcome. They normally start being concerned about it when they are closer to retirement. Around my age, it's like, whatever they're doing, they're doing a good job. We have trustees, we have principal officers taking care of everything. We have consultant. And the consultant will be saying, the price you are paying is actually a very small price to pay, considering the amount of value that I'm adding. But is it a small price to pay? Let us look at the impact of cost, especially how high cost. If you're looking at it from a long-term perspective, how are they eating away from your real return? All right. Let's assume, sorry about that. let's assume you are investing 1,000 rand per month for your full working lifetime, which hardly happens in South Africa, let's say 40 years, and you are earning a real return of 5%. Now, I think the graph is self-explanatory. You can already see the return lost in fees, charging from 1% all the way up to 4%. With an increase, at each additional increase in fees, you can see the huge chunk that is being lost in fees. And shockingly to say, the industry charges about 3% in investment management. So you can see how much you are losing there. Sorry, I had to add that. So you will hear a consultant and many other service providers telling you this is what you need to do, you need to communicate, you need to calculate, you need to compare. But are they giving you tools to enable you to do that as a trustee? You'll find that you get quotations or you get that. You simply say, okay, this one did a great presentation. I think we like that person. That one looks nice. You're actually supposed to have a tool that actually quantifies the total fees, and you actually can demonstrate what their impact would be before you can take a decision. So at 10X, we came up with a cost calculator that's simple. You input all the fees. It ensures that everything is comparable for you as a trustee or principal officer to take the right decision. So the first step for you would be to input all the data that's available as well as the fees. Now let's assume there are two funds. There is Fund A and there is Fund B. Fund A is a typical fund in an umbrella fund, say 10X, and then Fund B is a typical standalone fund. We assume that they have the same membership details, number of employees, say 5,000. The average contribution per employee per month is around 2,250, and total assets are 100 million. You classify all your fees, so you look at your payroll-based fees, you also look at your asset-based fees, right? For the sake of time, I'm just gonna speed. Look at your administration fee. For example, Fund A in an umbrella fund in 10X, they don't charge, whereas Fund B is charging 0.3%. Administration fees per member per month, we are charging 34 rands, and Fund B is not charging. Consulting fees, we know that we always need consultant, at 10X we don't, so they don't charge. Fund B is charging about 0.1%. This is just a quick comparison. Now you go to your asset-based fees. There could be additional fees that you might have to add to the calculator as well, depending on the fund that you're doing a comparison for. So you look at your investment consulting fee, you look at your administration fee, and you look at your investment management fee. That they do not normally disclose. You will need to demand that. Step 2, now calculate your total fees charged per month, right? So ensure that everything is comparable. Sorry about that. Let's go back. Step 2. Okay, there's your fee output. Now you are totaling everything for Fund A and for Fund B. Look at your payroll-based fees, you look at your asset-based fees and the fund expense. You know that in a standalone fund, you normally have your trustee meetings that you will have to carry out now and again, your valuations, that's costly. You include that as well. Now, if you compare the total scheme fees per month for Fund A in an umbrella fund, it's only about 195,000. If you look at Fund B, we can all see that amount. It's quite huge, isn't it? It's important to note that the fee saving as a percentage of assets is about 3.5%. What is the average scheme fees saved per member per month? It's 692 rands. So this is very important, especially for a trustee or a principal officer, to do such a thorough comparison before making any decision on the services providers. All right. For interest's sake, we also look at the accumulated after inflation fee saving per month. In 10 years' time, you can see it's about 31,213. But if you look at 20 years and 40 years, there is a huge fee savings per member. Okay. Graphical expressions. If you look at the total scheme fees as a percentage of assets, remember we are looking at Fund A, which is in a typical 10X umbrella fund, and then Fund B in a standalone fund. You can see that the fees as a total of assets for Fund B, they only start leveraging and stagnating at only at a higher fee, 1.5% of the total assets, whereas for a standalone fund in 10X, it's 0.3%. The real rand value of assets per member, you can see that the member in this umbrella fund has gained substantially. Okay, so it's very important not to just say high costs are not important now, only looking at the short term. What is important is to project and look at the long-term fee impact. How does it impact you in the long run? How much are you losing? Will you be able to retire comfortably? All right, so it's quite obvious that fees are really an important factor in your retirement. You must assess all those services providers. Are they adding value? Are they charging? How will that impact you in the long run? Like Stephen had mentioned, each 1% fee saving increases your final pension by approximately 30%, which the reverse is true. It means that each 1% charge in fees, you're losing about 30% of your retirement. So you must quantify all total fees from all service providers. You can't be comparing percentages and rand. Ensure that they make things as simple as possible for you as a trustee. They bring it to your level so that you are able to compare and make a decision. One most important aspect, demand full transparency. We know asset managers, they will normally say, no, we're going to tell you what the fees are after they've provided you the service, but that's not how it should work. You should demand the fee disclosure upfront and all the time. All right, that's it from me. Thank you so much.
Nice and short. We like her. Well done, Fikile. Any questions for Fikile while I ask this particular question? It was one that was sent through earlier, but I thought it would be good for you. There seems to be an implied level of fiduciary duty or responsibility for management committees when it comes to umbrella funds, specifically.
Implied, huh?
I don't know. I didn't ask the question. I'm just reading it. I don't understand it either. Who asked the question?
I did, but it was answered earlier, but you weren't listening.
What?
Been asked and answered.
So why didn't you say so? So no, ignore that.
Additionally, what we have done at 10
Exactly, additionally.
Sorry. All right. To ensure that, because we know that, under an umbrella arrangement, an employer would normally say we have a higher level management committee. We have gone out and say all our clients should have like a mini management committee, just people who will ensure that they oversee the running of the fund at a member or employer level to ensure that the operations of the fund are exactly as they should be. Yeah.
Okay. A microphone in the front row over here, please. And then as soon as he's done, to the back, please.
Thanks, Fikile. Does the different types of fees that are charged to the funds attract VAT?
I checked.
VAT, value-added tax.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they do. Stephen
sorry,
says
next speaking is Tracy, who's actually our chief product designer, who actually designed
okay.
the calculator, but yes, they are.
If Tracy doesn't do it, and if I'm not listening, will you ask it again? Thanks.
In response to these pressures to reveal costs, I have heard of consultants revealing only those costs which they are obliged by law to reveal. Have you come across that as well?
I think in the funds that I have worked, in the companies that I've worked with, Alexander Forbes and or Mutual, it's true that, asset managers or consultants, they will only disclose what they're truly obliged to disclose. Unless you follow up, as a member or as a trustee, only then you will find out there is additional fees that were supposed to be disclosed, but they were not disclosed. They only disclose what they feel will be appropriate.
Thank you.
There we go. Any more for any more? Any more? Any more? Any more? Fikile, you are free to go.
Thank
there
you.
There we go.
Thanks.
Thanks, Fikile.